150 million years ago, a king walked these plains. He wasn't the biggest or the fastest, but he was the most resilient. Known as the Lion of the Jurassic, the Allosaurus reigned supreme during a time of giants. But his dominance is a puzzle. With a skull built like an axe, but a bite force weaker than a modern lion's. How did he bring down the largest animals to ever walk the earth? This is the story of a predator's daily routine. To understand the killer, we must first understand his world. Welcome to the Morrison Formation. 155 million years ago, this was a semi-arid land of extremes, defined by brutal wet and dry seasons. Survival here was a game of niche and territory. Rivals like Ceratosaurus lurked in the shadows of the gallery forests. But Allosaurus owned the open floodplains. From hatchling to apex predator, every day was a fight for his throne. It began in the dirt, a small, vulnerable hatchling in a world of monsters, but they didn't stay small for long. Growth was explosive. During their peak youth, they could gain 150 kilograms, over 300 pounds every single year. Juveniles were built for speed, occupying a different world than their heavy-set parents, hunting smaller, faster prey. Reaching sexual maturity by their early teens, only the most resilient reached their full, terrifying potential. By age 15, the king was ready to claim his domain, a specialized hunter with a unique set of tools. The life of an Allosaurus was physically punishing. They survived bone-shattering impacts that would kill any other beast. Specimens like Big Al show nearly 20 different injuries. They weren't just predators. They were the ultimate survivors. But how did this survivor transform into the most feared killer of the Jurassic? The answer lies in its bizarre biology. Coming up, we'll witness the hatchet strike, a technique that revolutionized Jurassic warfare. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the prehistoric past, make sure to like and subscribe to join our journey. As a new day dawns on the Jurassic horizon, the hunt begins. But for the Allosaurus, the morning starts with a choice. Scavenge or hunt, conserve energy, or risk everything for a fresh kill. In the dry season, every calorie is life or death. Stay tuned for part 2, where we step into the morning routine of a killer, part 1 of our 10-part series. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. Dawn in the Jurassic. The world is still, held in a cold, misty silence. But for a 2-ton predator, sleep is a luxury he can no longer afford. The Allosaurus stirs. His first breath of the day is a cold rasp. Every morning is a calculation of calories. At 2 tons, simply standing up costs energy. To survive another day, he must decide, will he be the hunter or the scavenger? It's a choice that defines the life of the Lion of the Jurassic, and the answer might surprise you. His brain is a specialized tool for scent. He can detect the chemical ghost of a carcass from miles away. In this world of giants, a single dead sauropod is a subsidy of life, a 20-ton gift that can feed a predator for weeks. Some call him a king, others a terrestrial vulture. Scavenging is safe, it's efficient, it's how a survivor plays the game. He doesn't bite like a lion, he defleshes his prize like a giant bird of prey, tearing meat from bone with mechanical precision. But carcasses bring competition. Dominance here isn't just about killing, it's about the power to take what's already dead. But scavenging has its limits. Sometimes the subsidy runs dry, and when it does, the vulture must become the killer once more. Coming up, we go beyond the carcass. We witness the risk, the speed, and the sheer violence of an active Allosaurus hunt. If you want to see the Jurassic through the eyes of its most successful predator, make sure you're subscribed. The morning meal is over. Now the real danger begins. We'll see you in part 3. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. The morning's calculation is complete. Scavenging is safe, but hunting is necessary. The Lion of the Jurassic is now a ghost in the trees. To kill a giant, you need more than just teeth. You need a revolution in biomechanics. For years, scientists were baffled. His bite force was surprisingly weak, less than a modern leopard's. But his skull was over-engineered. The secret was the hatchet strike. He didn't bite, he slammed. Using his neck as a handle, he used his upper jaw like a battle axe. But every weapon has a counter. Enter the Stegosaurus, the most heavily armed herbivore of the Morrison Formation. Its defense was the Thagomizer, 4 2-foot spikes capable of punching through solid bone. This was Jurassic martial arts. Encounters were frequent, and they were violent. This wasn't a game of speed, it was a high-stakes duel of precision and power. We know because the fossils tell the story. This Allosaurus vertebra was pierced clean through by a Thagomizer spike. He survived, but with a scar for life. And this Stegosaurus plate shows the return strike, a tactical bite delivered with the axe-head precision of the king. This was the cost of life in the Jurassic. an endless loop of innovation and counterattack. A predator's daily routine is a dance with death. If you're fascinated by the CSI of the prehistoric world, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started. Next, the midday sun brings a new challenge. Water is vanishing, and a new rival emerges from the trees. Join us for part 4. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. Midday. The sun is a white hammer pounding the Morrison Plains into dust. In this scorched landscape, the hunt for water is more dangerous than the hunt for meat. To survive the heat, you must first master your own internal fire. Welcome to the invisible world of dinosaur metabolism. For a century, we thought they were cold-blooded, but new molecular evidence tells a different story. Allosaurus was endothermic, warm-blooded, with a metabolism as high as a modern bird's. But being warm-blooded in a 100-degree world is a gamble. To avoid boiling his own brain, the Allosaurus evolved a cranial radiator. These massive skull openings dumped excess heat into the air. As the riverbeds dry into cracked clay, the Morrison Formation becomes a series of high-stakes watering holes, the ultimate prize for a predator. But the lion of the Jurassic is not the biggest beast in the forest. Meet Torvosaurus. He is the specialist, the heavyweight rival who rules the shadows of the riverbanks. Torvosaurus is a specialist of the shadows, built for crushing power. Allosaurus is the generalist of the open plains. When they meet at the waterhole, the air grows heavy with the threat of violence. Survival is about niche. Allosaurus dominates the open floodplains. Torvosaurus claims the lush river valleys. They coexist by avoiding each other, a fragile piece held together by the geography of fear. But drought breaks all the rules. Predator traps like the Cleveland Lloyd Quarry prove that in times of extreme stress, these hunters would congregate in massive numbers around the last remaining bogs. The dry season is a war of attrition. Every drop of water, every calorie of scavenged meat is a victory against the relentless sun. The daily routine is now purely about endurance. But as the heat fades, a new opportunity arises. The savanna is cooling and the giants are on the move. What happens when the lion gathers its strength for the night? If you're following this prehistoric saga, make sure you're subscribed for the next chapter. We're halfway through the day. Next, we explore the controversial social life of the king. Was he a lone assassin, or did he hunt in a lethal pack? Join us for part 5. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. In the heart of Utah lies a prehistoric enigma, a site so dense with death that it challenges everything we thought we knew about the lion of the Jurassic. Welcome to the Cleveland Lloyd Dinosaur Quarry, a place where the rules of nature seem to have been broken. In a healthy ecosystem, herbivores outnumber predators. But here, the ratio is inverted. Of the 74 individuals found, 46 are Allosaurus. It shouldn't be possible. For decades, this was the smoking gun for pack hunting. The image of the Allosaurus as a prehistoric wolf, coordinated and social, became a legend. But modern science suggests a darker reality. Not a pack, but a mob. Think less like wolves and more like Komodo dragons, a chaotic gathering of rivals drawn to a single prize. New evidence suggests this wasn't a trap, but a toxic sanctuary, a seasonal pond turned deadly by rotting meat. The Allosaurus didn't live here. They came here to die. The proof is written in their bones. Many Allosaurus skulls show signs of face biting, vicious, non-lethal strikes used to establish dominance. Socializing was a violent ritual. During times of extreme stress, the ritual turned lethal. Bite marks on their own bones prove that when the Morrison dry season hit its peak, the king would scavenge its own kind. The lion of the Jurassic was a solitary, scrappy survivor, an opportunistic killer that was as much a threat to its siblings as it was to its prey. The day is ending, but for the largest herbivores on Earth, the danger is just beginning. How does a solitary killer bring down a 60-ton mountain of muscle? If you're gripped by the secrets of the Jurassic, make sure you're subscribed. The hunt for the giants is next. Next, we enter the night shift. We witness the ultimate showdown, the solitary king versus the sauropod giants. Join us for part 6. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. As the sun vanishes, the Jurassic world doesn't sleep. It transforms. For the lion of the Jurassic, the darkness is not a barrier. It's an opportunity. Welcome to the night shift, a time when the hunter's senses are pushed to their absolute limit. We once thought dinosaurs were strictly day dwellers, but the bony rings in their eyes, scleral rings, tell us that Allosaurus was cathemeral. He was built to kill in both the light and the dark. He could hear what others couldn't. His inner ear was tuned to low-frequency thumps, the subsonic rumbles of a sauropod herd moving across the floodplain miles away. And then there was his sense of smell. His olfactory bulbs were massive. In the cool night air, he could track the chemical ghost of his prey with the precision of a bloodhound. Hunting a 60-ton giant is a suicidal gamble. A single tail swipe can be fatal. To survive, the Allosaurus developed a terrifying strategy: flesh grazing. He didn't need to kill immediately. One massive, slashing bite, a flesh graze, caused catastrophic blood loss. He would simply wait in the dark for the giant to weaken. But the easiest prize was the young. Juveniles, often the size of a modern cow, were the primary fuel for the king's high metabolism engine. In the dark, no one was safe. By the time the moon reaches its peak, the calculation has paid off. The lion has fed. The energy for another day of survival has been secured. But life as an apex predator is a cycle of violence. Tomorrow, he faces the ultimate challenge: the legacy he leaves behind. How does a monster raise its young? If you're hooked on this predator's journey, hit that subscribe button. The family life of the king is coming up next. Next, we look at the legacy of the lion. From egg to assassin, we explore the brutal upbringing of the Jurassic's finest. Join us for part 7. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. Every legend has a beginning. But in the world of the Allosaurus, that beginning was a cold, solitary gamble in the dirt. Welcome to the nesting grounds. To understand the king's legacy, we must look at how he ensured the survival of the next generation. They didn't brood their eggs like modern birds. Instead, they buried them. Thin, porous shells allowed the embryos to breathe in low-oxygen burrows, incubated by the heat of rotting vegetation. The strategy was simple: lay 'em and leave 'em. These were precocial killers. Born ready to hunt, they emerged from the earth not needing a mother, but needing a meal. Life was a game of numbers. Juveniles formed pods, cohorts of independent siblings that hunted together for protection. In the Jurassic, there was safety in a mob of mini-killers. They occupied a different world than their parents. An ontogenetic shift meant they were swifter and leaner, specializing in small prey while they waited for their bodies to catch up to their ambition. Growth was a biological explosion. By their teenage years, they were putting on 300 pounds of muscle and bone every 12 months. Speed was slowly traded for sheer, crushing power. Scientists call them latchkey kids. Out of a clutch of 30, only 1 or 2 might reach adulthood. The legacy of the lion was built on the remains of the siblings who didn't make it. But those who survived were the elite, the scrappiest, smartest, and most aggressive, the future kings of the Morrison Formation. As the juvenile matures, its body changes in more ways than one. What is the secret meaning behind those vibrant red crests? Is there a softer side to this monster? If you're fascinated by the brutal reality of prehistoric life, make sure you're subscribed for the final chapters of our story. Next, we explore the world of Jurassic romance. From vibrant displays to blood-soaked dominance, we look at the mating rituals of the king. Join us for part 8. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. As the dry season breaks and the first rains touch the dust, the Morrison Formation undergoes a transformation. For the Allosaurus, the season of survival becomes the season of display. Welcome to the world of Jurassic romance, a ritual of color, sound, and blood-soaked dominance. The bony ridges above their eyes, the lacrimal crests, were more than just armor. Covered in vibrant keratin, they were billboards of genetic fitness, signaling health and power to potential mates. But color was only the first step. In the Dakota sandstone, we've found scrape displays, prehistoric dance floors where males raked the earth to demonstrate their vigor and nest-building potential. This was lekking behavior. Similar to modern birds, the Allosaurus performed rhythmic ceremonies, turning the savanna into an arena of physical competition. Display often led to violence. Face biting was a ritualized test of strength. These love bites left permanent scars, a lifelong record of every rival challenged and every mate won. But mating was a high-stakes gamble. In a world of cannibals, an unsuitable suitor risked more than just rejection. If his dance failed to impress, he might become the female's next meal. For the successful, the prize was the continuation of the bloodline, a legacy of dominance that would rule the Morrison Formation for 10 million years. But even the most successful empires have an end. The Jurassic world is changing, the floodplains are shifting, and a new era is on the horizon. The king has ruled for eons, but how does a titan fall? What happens when the world that built you starts to tear itself apart? If you're ready for the conclusion of this epic saga, make sure you're subscribed. The fall of the king is next. Next, we witness the twilight of the Jurassic. We explore the environmental collapse and the final days of the lion. Join us for part 9. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. Nothing lasts forever. For 10 million years, the Allosaurus ruled an empire of giants, but the world that built him was starting to tear itself apart. Welcome to the Tithonian Crisis, the final brutal chapter of the Jurassic period. As the supercontinent Pangaea fractured, global weather patterns went into chaos. The western interior seaway retreated, leaving the Morrison Formation in a lethal rain shadow. The rain stopped. For centuries, the ecosystem was gripped by mega droughts that turned the floodplains into a scorched wasteland. The meat factory was failing. As the ferns died, the giant sauropods vanished. The specialized food source that sustained the multi-ton Allosaurus population was disappearing into the dust. Competition became lethal. Rivals that once coexisted now fought to the death over every scrap of carrion. In the scarcity war, there was no room for mercy. But the lineage didn't go quietly. At the very top of the strata, we find the final king, Allosaurus anax, a 40-foot titan pushed to its maximum size in a failing world. It wasn't a bang that ended the empire, but a slow, agonizing fade. A victim of its own success, trapped in a specialized niche that no longer existed. The lion of the Jurassic has left the stage, but a legacy doesn't truly end with extinction. What did the king leave behind for the world that followed? If you've been with us since the beginning, don't miss the conclusion. Hit that subscribe button for the grand finale. Next, we return to the present. We see how the king lives on through science, art, and the bones that still speak to us. Join us for part 10. This is Global Context. Stay sharp. The empire of the Allosaurus ended 145 million years ago, but for us, the story is just beginning. In the halls of our modern world, the king still speaks. Welcome to the final chapter, a journey from the dirt of the Bone Wars to the cutting edge of modern science. Named in 1877 during the fierce Bone Wars, Allosaurus was the archetypal monster long before the world had heard of T-Rex. He was the first true celebrity of the prehistoric world. From the silent screens of the 1920s to the blockbusters of today, the Allosaurus has evolved in our imagination, from a tripod monster to a fast, lethal assassin. But his greatest impact wasn't in fiction. It was in the bones of one individual, Big Al. With 95% of his skeleton intact, Al provided a biological map of a dinosaur's life. Through Big Al, we learned about paleopathology, the study of ancient injury. We saw him struggle, heal, and ultimately fall. He turned a monster into a living, breathing animal. Today, the legacy continues. CT scans and computer modeling are unlocking the secrets of his gape, his hearing, and his metabolism. Every new discovery adds a layer to the king's crown. He remains the centerpiece of our fascination, a symbol of resilience and adaptation that reminds us of the fragility and the power of life on Earth. The lion of the Jurassic was a survivor, a scavenger, a hunter, a rival, and a parent. He didn't just live in the Morrison Formation, he defined it. Extinction is inevitable, but a legacy is eternal. As we look into the past, we see our own future reflected in the eyes of the king. The lion has left the building, but his roar remains. Thank you for joining us on this 30-minute journey through the Jurassic. If you've enjoyed the ride, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep documentaries. This is Global Context. Stay sharp.